Sky and...
Oh, it's all set up for a Man City versus Liverpool final. There's no point watching the next few months because we all know what's going to happen. It's about as inevitable as Harpreet winning The Apprentice.
I'm sorry, but I can categorically tell you all that right now, we will not be watching a Manchester City versus Liverpool final in Paris. So you can all stop booking your tickets to the Eiffel Tower. Because when does the obvious final ever happen? You cannot, on paper, matchmake the it doesn't work like that. I mean, don't forget, we were apparently promised an El Clasico final in Germany twice. First in 2012 in Munich, and then 2015 in Berlin. Guess what? Neither happened. Again, it was supposed to be Real Madrid versus Barcelona at Wembley in 2013. Again, instead of it being all Spanish, it was an all German cow meat pie. I mean, don't forget, we were supposed to have Man City versus Liverpool in 2019, right? Who did we get in the final instead? Tottenham. 2009 was supposed to be a Chelsea versus Man United rematch in Rome. 2010 was supposed to be Barcelona versus Man United at the Bernabeu. 2004 looked like it was going to be Real Madrid versus AC Milan. Instead, we got Monaco versus Porto. A final about as appetizing as a burger drenched in my nan's sweat. I mean, in 2007, you're all frothing at the teeth for Manchester United to play Liverpool in Athens. Christ above, an all-English final in Greece? That would have just been a recipe for empty beer cans. Empty packets of fish and chips, pints of blood, and shards of broken teeth, decorating the home of Hercules. But honestly, trust me, right now, yeah, I'm gonna do my Champions League quarterfinal predictions. But one thing we can be sure of, we are not watching a City versus Liverpool final. Because the obvious final never happens. So, no! Right, let's go. Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Thomas Tuchel must feel like biting off his nose. Good Christ, before last season, Chelsea and Real Madrid had only ever faced each other 3 times, and none since 1998. These are 2 giant big boy clubs who've been chucking money about like wet confetti for years, and yet they've somehow always managed to successfully avoid meeting each other in the Champions League. I mean, it was just weird. What are the odds? I mean, it's like 2 billionaires attending the same 5-star nightclub Halloween party for 15 years, and yet they never bump into each other at the bar. But ever since you sold a £100 million turkey like Eden Hazard to the Bernabeu, oh, now you seemingly can't get away from them. Meeting them in the Champions League quarterfinal 2 seasons on the bounce. Listen, yes, Chelsea are going through an off-field crisis right now, which makes you think, oh, surely that's going to translate onto the pitch, right? Suddenly Mason Mount is going to look like a lost schoolboy, and Reece James is going to very quickly show the technical ability of a broken couch. You might assume the uncertainty aboard level would translate onto the pitch. I mean, these are wealthy multi-millionaires who, next season, could be forced to take the bus. I mean, I know, look at someone like Kai Havertz. Someone who's probably got a 7-figure annual bill for expensive Brill cream. Ask him to take a public bus to work, and trust me, this German Justin Bieber is going to look at you as if you just asked to sniff his mother's feet. I mean, honestly, next season, Timo Werner doesn't want to have to bring a packed lunch to work. I mean, what's he gonna do? Just stuff lasagna in a lunchbox? But I just remember the Calciopoli scandal when Italian football was in the mud. The country still pulled together to win the World Cup. I mean, Tuchel is a leader and he's aiming for his 3rd consecutive Champions League final. I mean, who is he, Zidane? But sadly, it is not happening this time out. Yeah, I know you dismantled Madrid last season, but it was all a bit false. I mean, Crispo, you didn't even travel to the Bernabeu. You played at their training ground, which has a capacity of 6,000. Lads, it's half the size of Gateshead's ground. And not to mention, nobody was allowed to watch. I mean, I'm guessing for the Chelsea players, that arena was about as scary and intimidating as, I don't know, watching a DVD about flowers with your nan. It's the home of Real Madrid's B team. I mean, the Bernabeu is a stadium which has hosted world-class superstars in the mold of Figo, Zidane, Beckham, both Ronaldos. But this muddy Spanish pitch, what, the former home of Willian Jose, Adam Zalai and Joselu? I mean, this is equivalent of trying to box someone in a Tesco car park rather than in front of a packed Wembley arena. It's a bit easier, but we saw PSG wilt like a dying cauliflower in front of a packed 80,000-seater Bernabeu. Honestly, Chelsea, you are facing a different animal this time out. But lads, how fitting is this? Roman Abramovich's last season at the club, and he could be watching his beloved Chelsea finally exit tournament against the guy who he sacked in the toilets at Everton 11 years ago. This would be the quintessential revenge mission for Carlo Ancelotti. Honestly, think Liam Neeson in Taken, except instead of trying to rescue his silver-spooned annoying daughter from some yacht in Persia, he's just been sitting on a decade's worth of anger. Sorry lads, but Chelsea are about to feel the full force of Karim Benzema eating them alive with a fork. I honestly think Madrid will nick an early goal at Stamford Bridge, maybe settle for a 1-1 draw before taking them back to Spain, and yeah, Vinicius Jr. is going to cause an outbreak of migraine migraines in your defense. He's going to utterly run the show. I'll go for a pretty clinical 3-0 Real Madrid home win. I mean, sorry Chelsea, but you're not knocking Real Madrid out 2 seasons in a row. Because here is the bad news. Oh yes, I've come with facts. Real Madrid just do not get knocked out by the same team 2 years in a row. They've almost always immediately got revenge on them the next time they play. And I've got examples. Juventus stick Real Madrid out in the 2015 Champions League semi-finals, denying us all that El Clasico, right? The next time these two teams meet, Madrid show no mercy, battering them 4-1 in the 2017 final in Cardiff. I mean, Borussia Dortmund and Jurgen Klopp knock Mourinho's Madrid out of the 2013 Champions League semi-finals. I mean, they meet again next season in the quarter-finals. No chance, Madrid win. I mean, Bayern Munich knocked Real Madrid out in the 2012 semi-finals. Next time they meet, Real Madrid batter Bayern Munich and Pep Guardiola 4-0 away from home in the 2014 semi-finals. In 2010, Lyon knocked them out in the last 16, and then the next year in 2011, they meet again in the last 16, and Madrid crushed them like an ant. Real Madrid always get revenge. I mean, Tuchel has knocked them out once, but it's not happening again. Do you know how many managers have knocked Real Madrid out of the Champions League on more than one occasion? 2. Otmar Hitzfeld with Bayern Munich in 2001 and 2007, and Marcello Lippi with Juventus in 1996 and again in 2003. That is it! Sorry Tommy, and sorry Chelsea, but it's not happening. Man City versus Atletico Madrid. The Aguero Derby. I hope he's watching this on the couch somewhere. Actually, Man City, give him a free ticket to the match. Get him set up in a box, serve him a 5-star steak, and allow him to watch the 2 clubs of his heart fight it out. And that's the last time I'm ever going to mention the word Aguero and heart in the same sentence, because otherwise it'll just make me sad. Christ, I hope he never goes on Joe Hart's podcast. But lads, is this right? We could have, for the first time in the history of sport, had a Manchester derby in Europe. We could have had Cristiano Ronaldo versus Pep Guardiola in the Champions League again. Now I wish that Man United hadn't displayed the shooting confidence of a sexually depleted dentist. Now I wish Anthony Elanga hadn't chosen to boot the ball into Yano Black's head. Man City versus Atletico Madrid on paper doesn't really have the same appeal and spice. Or does it? Pep Guardiola versus Diego Simeone. You would think that that's almost a battle of good versus evil, right? I mean, guys, well, you can imagine the big fat Marvel poster with Guardiola being painted as some sort of Captain America, with Simeone playing the role of, I don't know, Darth Vader? I guess. I don't know. Comic book nerds, how am I doing? Do you like these analogies? Right now, the Spanish media is trying to create a war between Simeone and one of Pep's disciples Inzaghi, right? I mean, it's an easy narrative. 2 completely contrasting philosophies and style of football. I mean, Christ, well, let's be honest, Atletico Madrid are essentially the Spanish Stoke. I mean, a lot more skillful and a more high-functioning Stoke, but a Stoke nonetheless. And I feel like we've been cheated because Simeone versus Guardiola is a generational rivalry, which we should have seen more of. Instead, they've sparred off 3 times. I mean that's it. Once in February 2012, when Diego was only 5 minutes into the job, that was their only battle in the Liga. And then Atletico dumped Pep's Bayern Munich out on away goals in the Champions League semi-finals in 2016. That was it. One epic clash between 2 of the greatest managers on planet Earth. That's it! It's like if Sir Alex Ferguson had only ever taken Arsene Wenger on 3 times. These 2 men should hate each other. This should be the biggest managerial rivalry in the game, and yet these 2 men haven't actually been in the same room in 6 years. This is a tough one to predict. Don't forget Simeone dumped Pep's star-studded Bayern Munich team out with a very similar starting 11 to the one he has now. Yeah, it was 2016, but 5 of that starting 11 win over Bayern Munich played at Old Trafford this week. I am tempted to pick an Atletico win. I mean, Christ, here's a list of teams who have knocked Pep Guardiola out in the Champions League at the Etihad. Monaco, Liverpool, Tottenham, Lyon and Chelsea. A Chelsea team who the previous month had conceded 5 at home to West Brom. At Bayern Munich, he was almost dumped out of the competition by Porto. This is tricky. I'm tempted to pick Simeone. This man is Guardiola's worst nightmare. I mean, Christ, when City travel to Spain for the second leg, I wouldn't be surprised if Diego's instructed the ball boys to just kick Sterling in the tunnel. I mean, he'll probably try and poison the City pre-match meal on the bus. I don't know, just paying off the chef from Wigan to sneak ear medicine into their chicken pasta. I mean, there's going to be an amount of time wasting. Honestly, we will see Pep almost reduce to tears as he's forced to watch his idea and vision of the beautiful game transcend into an ugly, rainy scene out of Saving Private Ryan. We've seen how Guardiola loves this game so much that he even passionately likes to see the opposing players do well, like Nathan Redmond a few years ago or Vicente Guaita midweek. So what do you think it will do to him watching a generational baller like João Felix be corrupted by negative, nasty Simeone ball right in front of his eyes? No, it's just a bit cruel. I mean, it'd be real like watching Mozart forced to watch a budding young pianist spend his afternoons doing smack outside of Burger King. Guardiola knows he can sculpt Felix into a modern superstar. The perfect false nine. So watching him instead be instructed to spend the first leg stamping on John Stones' feet or flinging an elbow into Kyle Walker's liver at corner kicks. Oh, it's all just a bit cruel. This Atleti motivation will be strong. I mean, Christ above, Stefan Savic will want to prove to City that he's not actually some error-prone Montenegrin meatball who the club was right to bin after just 1 year. I mean, Christ above, they picked a fat Colo Touré more than him. You know what? I'm gonna go for a scrappy, tight 1-0 win for Man City in the first leg, courtesy of a scruffy late finish from Raheem Sterling. But in the second leg, it'll be a cauldron of fire. The likes of Jack Grealish is going to pick up so many fouls, he'll probably be limping at the airport with an angle which will probably resemble the corpse of a frog. I'm going to call it. I think Atletico Madrid will win the second leg 2-1. Now, normally away goals would see City through, right? I mean, the away goals rule have only ever affected Man City twice in their history. When Monaco booted them out in 2017 and then Tottenham in 2019. Usually away goals have not been their friend, and they won't even be able to take advantage of it this time because it doesn't count this season, and so this will go to penalties. And now you tell me, look into the eyes of both sets of players. I mean, even the Atleti bench is packed with hardened warriors who'd rather chew off their granny's face than lose a match in the Champions League. By contrast, for City, I've seen Gundogan, Sterling, Grealish, Mahrez and De Bruyne all miss penalties. So, it doesn't look good. I'm gonna go for Atletico Madrid win on penalties. Just you watch. And since I know that you're all laughing at me right now, alright then, let's make a deal. How about this time, you do the forfeit? If I'm right and Atletico Madrid win, then in my reaction video, you have to flood the comments with this.
Oh, Irish guy, you are the greatest prediction in the world. All hail the Irish guy.
Do we have a deal? And if not, and if Man City win, then I guess I'll drink apple juice out of a shoe. Valarial versus Bayern Munich. Easiest pick in the list. Listen, I'm not disrespecting Valarial. I know you did well to beat Juventus. Brilliant. But it's a Juventus team 4th in Serie A. And the last 3 years, they've been dumped out by Porto, Lyon and Ajax. There's not really much separating this Juventus team from the standard of Europa League. Don't you tell me they're better than Barcelona. Or, let's be honest, even West Ham. And same goes for Valarial. I'm sorry, but you don't stand a chance. Bayern Munich are going to wolf you down for breakfast. Again, Robert Lewandowski is going to spank in at least 4 goals over both legs. I'll go for a 2-0 Bayern win in Spain, and then a pretty comprehensive 4-1 win back at the Allianz. I'm sorry, Unai Emery, but you've got no chance here. Bayern Munich they're already through. They're just through, okay? If Valarial knock Bayern out, I'll eat mashed potato off a toilet seat. Benfica versus Liverpool. Liverpool would have pretty rotten memories of Benfica. I mean, when they were the reigning champions of Europe from Istanbul, that proud title lasted a little under 9 months, the length of an average pregnancy, before Benfica and Simão Sabrosa knocked them out in the last 16. Anyone remember that? I remember that. This'll be an easy win though, Christ above. 3-0 Liverpool win in Portugal before, just like against Inter Milan, they'll take their foot off the gas in the second leg and squeak out a late 2-1 home win. Aussie 5-1 aggregate win, minimum fuss. Next. So right, that's it. Right now, we've got a semi-final matchup of Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid, and then Liverpool versus Bayern Munich, Ancelotti versus Simeone, and Klopp versus Nagelsmann. To me, that's a pretty tasty semi-final. Enemy, that's what do you think, right? Let me know in the comment section below. Put your opinions, everything down below. Let me know what you think it's going to be. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, but as always, touch on one.